Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here. Hey, 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 it's the phenomenal STEMist. Good evening out there. We're talking about, are you financially literate? I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be in conversation with two of my fellow alumnus from Oakwood University. I have Delani Williams. I have Megan Ulorder. I don't know who's out there, but before I start talking to them, hey, Delani, hey, Megan, just say hi.
Hello.
All right.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I see people in the chat. Of course, you'll always have my number one fan. This is my mother out here. But everybody, and I see some of you from LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Dr. Maya Byfield. Click that subscribe button. And of course, just a little bit of homework. Phenomenal STEMist. The book is still here, still out on Amazon. If you want your child to be successful in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, just remember to check out my book on Amazon and help them. All right. Well, I without further ado, because we have a lot to talk about. Are you financially literate? I have Delani Williams. He is a former internal auditor and he's currently an accountant, but now he's an options trader. Don't be scared of options trading, okay? 15 years working in big time audits for reinsurance companies, but now he is full time trading options. I have Megan Ulorda. She is a certified privacy expert, a licensed attorney. All right. I have some licensed people on with me for the first time. You know, I'm a scientist, I'm not a finance person. Okay. But 14 years in compliance, and now she's at a really good technology firm and an auditor. We're going to talk. I had a great conversation with Delani today about financial literacy in our community and how it's so important. And so he and a friend of his, Megan, came on, decided, hey, come on, let's vibe and talk about the importance of finance and literacy. Hey, so say hi to the people, Megan. Say hi to Delani, and any greetings that you would like to give. Let me put my battery on. Hold on. Go ahead.
You go first, Megan.
Okay, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to have this opportunity to chat with you all about financial literacy. I think it's a really important topic. Delani is the expert in this, so I'm really just here to add value where I can, and thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, everyone. My name is Delani Williams, and Megan's funny because we're both experts. She's so humble. The funny thing is we connected after Oakwood. We both had interests. Both of us day trade. Well, not day trade, but we options trade SPY. And for many of you know who don't know, that's the S&P 500. And we share a lot of trade setups, go back and forth, and collaborate on these kind of things because more than one mind just makes things stronger. So
Absolutely.
we're part of a little trade group that game plans on a regular basis. And I tell you, I've seen a lot of improvement in my portfolio just by some of her recommendations. Coinbase was pretty impressive last week.
Oh.
Hey. I hear a little feedback, Dulani, but it's not that bad. But just try to fix the mic maybe a little bit away from your ear. We'll see how it goes. But it's
I'll keep
sometimes a
trying.
little bit more than yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So listen, I like the fact that you are in a group together. You guys are informing each other, and I feel like the information needs to be widespread. Once again, this is not a financial channel. This is we're not giving financial advice, but we do want to talk about why being financially literate and then building groups such as what Jelani and Megan do um, is so important. So if you ask yourself, like, are you financially literate? Here are the top nine ways to know that you're financially literate. And so we're going to talk about some of these things and compare what we know in our community. Number one, your money is in a lot of different places, meaning keyword. It's not even just about knowing, it's about action. Have you put your money in different places? We call this diversification. Do you think our community is well diversified? Any one of y'all can answer that. Hello? Do you think any are
No, I don't. I don't. I don't think that we tend within our community to diversify our money, and maybe that's changing now. But I think historically, it's maybe it started off under the mattress somewhere,
right?
and and then eventually maybe we started trusting banks a little bit more. But I still think that compared to some of our counterparts, there's probably still some work for us to do in that area.
Absolutely. Like maybe we'll put it in a CD, that makes 0.01%. Like
Mhm.
my most hated, I never forget it. When I was younger, I put $1,000 in a CD, and like 20 years later, I got like $100 out of it, like $1,100. Like if I had put that same $1,000 in Apple 20 years ago, like, or Amazon, or like every time I look at that CD, I get pissed. I'm glad I learned to put it in different things as I aged, but man, I wish somebody had told me at 20 that to put that $1,000 in something that can really increase above inflation. And I don't think a lot of us know. You know, I heard Delani. You wanted to say something. I think he lost his mic. Delani, are you speaking? Testing 1 2 3. I think that's what the problem is. His mic he tried to get something new. All right, when you come back in, we'll work it out. So number two, you have multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of incomes.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So like I heard that in order for you to be a millionaire, you need to have 7 or 8 streams of income. 7 or 8 streams. And I'm like, I'm counting. I'm like, okay, I have my job, I have my side hustle, which includes a book, I have my stock market account, I have my Roth IRA. I need to get three more. Like what are some examples of multiple streams? Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah. No, and honestly, this is a space I could probably do better in myself, but I'll use my brother as an example. Um, he has multiple streams of income. So, you might have your 9 to 5, your W-2 income is what I call it.
Right.
And then you may have your side hustle, say you're leasing your cars on Turo or hire car. That could be a stream of income. For my brother, he has his own consulting business. That's also a stream of income. And he works for a church as well in the area. So that's a stream of income as well.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
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 I want to have multiple Delani, you back. What are some examples? Some more examples outside of the W-2 and the that I can't
Well,
like an ad. Real estate. I need to find rental properties.
one of the things that I find the most impressive nowadays is people taking advantage of the gig economy, and they're
Mhm.
doing gigs. Some people DoorDash. Other people take their professional expertise online, and they freelance, and they become 1099ers, and before you know it, they're making $500,000 a year off of something that they thought was a little hobby. It
Yeah.
fascinates me. My
Yeah.
little nephew. I keep saying little. He's not little anymore. But I want to talk about this one experience I had with him, and he was providing. He's really good with computers, graphic design, and he would work for people freelancing on the internet. I guess for like maybe Bitcoin or something like that. And he had no idea how to actually do business or negotiate. And all he did was have a 5 minute discussion with his uncle on how to negotiate. And
Wow.
what the thing I told him, I said, Neff, if the number embarrasses you, then that's a good starting point. If your quote, if,
Makes you
if you have to
cringe. Like
put,
this is too much.
if you're embarrassed to say it out loud and you have to write it on a piece of paper, then that's a good starting point. And he did that. And before you knew it, he was taking in a good bit of money. And I was so proud of him. And it really just spoke to the importance of thinking outside the box, taking
Mhm.
advantage of what the economy can give you.
Wow, wow. Let me see what people have to say. I see some people in the chat. My mom says we trust ordinary people rather than banks and institutions like Susus and pyramid schemes. Yeah, yeah. We need and we were talking earlier. Like the church people will say, "Oh, the stock market is gambling," but they'll go for a Ponzi scheme. I don't get it. Like pyramid schemes are rampant in those kinds of areas, but then they're like, "No, no, the stock market. No, I don't get it." DeAndre says or three really slamming streams. Okay, it's really so what
Mhm.
are some really slamming streams, DeAndre? I think you must have some really slamming streams. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
For real though, Delani, like 1099 contracts. I had like two contracts this year. How do I know? I got some tax I got some tax papers this week. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot I got
Every time.
paid this much money. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. It adds up. Little contracts, they
Mhm.
add up. Okay, okay. So number 3, we're talking about 9 ways to know that you are financially literate. Are you financially literate? I see you guys watching. I see more and more people watching. Do me a favor, just tell me where you're watching from. Um, you get the link between inflation and income, meaning you get it. You get the link. Like, what is inflation, y'all? What's inflation?
Delani, I'll let you, the accountant, tackle that
let
one.
let the finance
I,
professional.
without going into fine textbook definition, I like to just say it's the overheating of the use of money. Money is one of the things that if it changes too many hands without getting a refresh or producing something new, it inflates. The whole idea is it's based on the thought concept of if we all can get the same thing, well, how worthy is it of that price in the first
Of
place?
that
Doesn't it
thing.
cheat itself? And inflation or the ease of having a dollar in your hand. If I can get $100 and you can get $100, is it really $100 anymore?
Right.
Right. Is it
It
value?
erodes
Is it
your
that valuable?
purchasing power.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Megan. Say that again. Because I was talking. Say that again.
Inflation erodes your purchasing power.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And
It,
and
it
and,
that's powerful. Go ahead. Go ahead, Delani.
and what's really ironic about inflation periods is that salaries can go up. You often see people demand more because, in essence, what's happening is uh, money is moving around. We saw that in the low interest rate environment. You know, people more at risks and they put money into different ventures and opportunities and things that they would never do that they now are willing to do. So we spend more, and as a result, we need workers. So now workers demand more, and they're demanding
Hmm.
more in inflationary periods. So if they make $75,000, they're actually making less because guess what? Other people are making $75,000 too. You're not special anymore.
Not special anymore. Forget 75, Delani. Megan, 100. Six
Right.
figures.
A
Yeah.
hundred's
Six
nothing.
figures don't make, like, you'd be like, oh, I make six figures. I look back and I'm like, you know what? That's not really a lot anymore. It really, really isn't.
Yeah, and
Honestly,
factoring where you live too, location. I lived in the Bay Area a few years ago, and yeah, six figures is like lower middle class.
Yeah. It
yeah.
depends on where you live. I mean, eggs cost $8.99. Like,
Look,
who cares if you make that much
Right.
money?
Yeah.
these egg prices are real.
Price. Listen, these
I'm
egg
about to
prices.
go vegan.
I'm already. Plus a little fish. Like I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan pescatarian. If that makes any sense, it doesn't make sense. But whatever, whatever, whatever. DeAndrea says, real estate is a great stream with a great tenant. That's the key thing. You got to have a good tenant. That's key. And corp to corp is the only way I work. Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay. Good to see you guys on. Um, okay, so inflation is just basically saying money's not the same anymore, and you got to use more to buy it. Like, so you really, if you just save, or you just get income, and you don't understand that, listen, $100,000 10 years ago is really worth $50,000 now. Um, that means if you just have $100,000 sitting in the bank that's not growing to beat that inflation rate, it's not helpful. So it's not enough to say, and I'm proud that I save in a savings account or a CD. You have to put risk in your money. And if you don't know how to do that, so that your money's growth beats the inflation that naturally comes over time, then
Mhm.
you really don't understand literacy. You don't understand financial literacy, right?
Right.
Number four, you can do the math on compound interest. You are finally, so who, I think Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, right? Do you
Facts.
know what that means?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's the little thing that could, and it does it so very well. And all it requires is patience and dedication. If you stay committed to the objective, which is to save and invest, and you do it. I mean, just some concepts like, um, oh no, I just went blank, but dollar cost averaging on an
Mhm.
investment
Right.
portfolio. I mean, this is
Basics. Basics.
basics, and it will grow exponentially.
Mhm.
The
And
math
I think,
supports it.
yeah, and the magic about compound interest is the earlier you start, the better off you are, and it allows your money to work so that you don't have to. You
And
know.
that's a stream. That's a stream. Listen, from 2009, the stock market, the S&P 500, as Dulani was saying, and he worked with, has on average, up until maybe last year, I mean, has moved 30% for me on
Yep.
every year. It may not, like, from beginning to the end, but it has some dips that jump 30%. And if you just dollar cost averaging, that's a basic understanding of, if every month you put away $500 in the Roth IRA, for instance, your Roth IRA, which is tax free, and you do that every month, when that stock market drops, you have more bang for your buck. The key thing is, people have compound interest being used against them in their mortgages, in their credit cards. Like
Mhm.
when they put 20% on that credit card, you put $5,000 on that credit card, it's going to take you 4 years to pay that $5,000 off, uh, with $2,500 attached to it. So you borrowed $5,000 and they took another $2,500 from you. That's compound interest working against you. Now it's time for us to make it work for
Yep.
us.
100%. Yep.
It's so
And, and,
important. Go ahead,
and
Delani.
can I piggyback on that because I love the whole credit card debate. I believe that you have to manage debt, and because debt is healthy if you're doing it in order to advance. But if you're doing it just to buy a Birkin, well, actually, be careful. Birkins go up in value. So, but I mean, if you're buying it if you're using it wastefully, then you know you're going to have to pay the piper.
Right.
But I love credit cards because I manage my credit cards. I pay off my entire credit card every month so that I can reap the rewards. You
Yeah.
know, I like to play Santa Claus at the end of the year and buy gifts and stuff for family using the points that I've accrued over the year that I can convert into dollars. And I
Right.
love, sadly, I get rewarded for the people who are not good with their money because they're
That's
paying for
right.
my gifts. They're helping me to be Santa Claus. So thank you.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you so much. I totally agree with you. The key thing is, can you pay it off to the point where you're not letting them use compound interest against you? Rather,
Exactly.
you're getting the points, you're getting the dollars. Like I'm in
100%.
that's so key. Let's see what people have to say. My mom says, "What about older retirees who have tiny riverlets of income?" Listen. It's a stream. It's a stream, and don't let this retiree. These baby boomers are some of the richest people, okay? And they like acting
Some
like they poor. Get out of here.
I would
you should
challenge
see them
that.
around my area. They drive all the ones with the golf carts going to play golf every day.
Yeah. Talk about rivulets. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Megan.
I would challenge the age limitation that we put upon ourselves, whether you're on the younger end of the spectrum or the older end of the spectrum. Delani mentioned an example of his young nephew. I have a young niece and a young nephew. My niece loves poetry. She's naturally gravitates to that ever since she was a kid, and she wrote a book herself, self-published, put it on Amazon. She
Wow.
connected the her Amazon account to a bank account or savings account for her education, and the proceeds go directly into that education savings account. So she doesn't even touch it. She's very adamant about finishing her college education with zero debt.
Oh,
My
love it.
nephew is a musician. He puts out his music on Apple Music and Spotify, and so you can naturally, the things that you're naturally drawn to, you can use your talent to generate income for yourself. I think regardless of your age.
Absolutely. And mommy, with your two pensions, you would be just fine. And I'm telling you, my mother, she's financially savvy. She puts even the money that she gets from her retirement, she puts it a small amount of it so that because she could travel and do her loving thing, but she still, for her elder care, puts money away in the stock market because she got 30 years to go. People in their 70s, we're living into 90 and 100. You still have 30 years to go. So you still put that money away, and you'll be just fine. But remember, there's no such thing as a rivulet. It's a stream, and you just put it away and know that in 30 years it will compound. All right, number 5. Number 5. We're talking about the top 9 ways to show that you're financially literate. This is a great conversation, y'all. Y'all are doing a such a great job. Y'all are doing a great job.
I'm
So
having fun.
all right, good, good. Number 5, you know what others say about you. What does that mean? You know what others say about you. That means your account statements are no mystery. You know how you get these from I get it from all kinds of retirement accounts and Charles Schwab. Like, do you actually know what they're saying? How many is it important to read statements.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important, and especially when you have it, uh, when you do that along with tracking over time, doing comparative analysis, looking at it over time, saying does this tell the story that I'm trying to tell? And I talk about that. I'm really referring to like credit scores. That's another thing
Mm,
that people have to pay very close attention to and know themselves. Know what the financial institutions say about you. Walk into your bank periodically and see if you can get that loan. Flirt with ideas. You know,
Wow. Flirt with
these are the different
ideas.
things.
and I think
I
this is
did that one day.
mhm.
I used to when I was working making very little money, I used to always keep a line of credit with Wells Fargo. I would pay $50 a year just to keep and try to grow the amount of credit I can get with them. And at one point I was so proud of it because my they were willing to give me more than what I earned in a year. And
Wow.
that was a testament, but it requires planning, having an actual focus because these things impact your credit score. They make you more credit worthy.
Wow, wow, wow. I never even thought of that part. Yeah, Megan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I would echo what Delani said, and I would just add that I agree. Your statements, it's like a pulse check, for that defined period of time so that you can have a line of sight into the health of your financial accounts. And I would also add that it's important to check, to review them regularly in the event that something is off or wrong, with the
Right.
prevalence of credit card fraud and identity theft. If you just throw them away or put them in a drawer somewhere, like and you're not really paying attention to what's going on with your accounts, you may be taken advantage of.
That is so key. Pay attention. One thing I like to do is I have a mint.com account. I know Megan you're really about careful about privacy, but but I have a Mint app and that's when I know like whenever a credit card company charged me a fee one time, I'm like, "Why?" Because I paid early, right? So I paid early. So it was some rule that if you pay too early, then it's too early before the
A
statement,
prepayment
whatever,
penalty?
whatever. I got that fee removed, huh?
Was it a prepayment penalty?
No, it wasn't a prepayment penalty. It was like, let's say, it always happens around December too. So I get paid earlier in December than normal. So I pay off my debt, but it was before the statement was even seen or something. So then some of the money rolled over on the statement, and then they charged me a fee because I didn't pay on the 25th. I paid on the 5th. Some crap, some foolishness. And
Mhm.
it's kind of weird. It's not a prepayment fee penalty though. I got the fee removed. It's as if I didn't pay the credit card for what was
Hmm.
left. For what was left, maybe. Like it's kind of like like when I paid it, it reran something. I don't know. I don't know. But it's like 63 cents. It wasn't a lot. But the point is, I told him to take that 63% off of my statement. I saw it pop up.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw it pop up. And I only could know that if I'm really in tune. That's I guess that's the key point. And to your point about identity theft, you don't know who's creating credit cards in your name. Listen, you gotta be well aware. All right, number six. Number six. You do more than the minimum. You do more than the minimum. That's back to what Dulani was saying about he pays his credit card off every month. Why is it so important to do more than the minimum payment?
Well, I think it goes back to your earlier point about the compounding interest working against you. So if you're only paying the minimum payments, like you said earlier, it'll take you months and months, if not years, in some cases, depending on the amount of debt that you have to pay off your balances.
Yeah, yeah. And it accumulates. It
Hmm.
Yeah.
accumulates. And there's no reason to pay double what you paid for. So like that goes for mortgages.
Hmm.
That goes it's not just small credit cards. Like I'm paying off my house in 15 years. That's the goal. Um I'm not gonna only pay off. Here's the key thing: like, don't do too far above the minimum that you're not using your debt wisely, as Dulani said. Where you could put money in the stock market, you could buy real estate, you could do this, you could do that, you could travel, you could, but just pay more than the minimum. Be balanced with it. I think that's
Yeah,
the key.
Yeah.
we should all know that we can walk and chew gum. It's that concept of being able to do a little bit, but doing your best at it.
Yeah,
And always, as long as you're avoiding minimums hurt. And because it prolongs the pain, it forms debt snowballs. And before you know it, you're just hit by an avalanche. But
avalanche.
it's this type of stuff that creates the death by a thousand cut concept. You know, you don't pay attention to it, and you just survive it minimally, and then before you know it, you can never pay it. So you want to stay
Wow.
on top of it and implement discipline. It's all about discipline.
It's all about discipline. To your point where there's never pay it. You know how many people say, I'm never gonna pay off my debt. Oh, I'm gonna wait till Jesus comes. And they used to tell that foolishness like when we were in high school, like, oh, just take out as much student loans as you want because Jesus is gonna come anyway. And now we're 40 years old.
Hmm.
We're in our 40s. Well, I don't know about you, Megan, but like I'm in my 40s.
I'm glad you.
Dulani's in, okay, we're in our 40s. And some people are saddled with
Yeah.
debt with
Yeah.
no return on their investment because they did not really think and, like Delani says, discipline themselves. And I feel like sometimes our people, our churches are the culprit of that. We really need to stop preaching that message of do whatever you want, and Jesus is gonna come. No, even if you die with student loan debt, those student loan debtors are coming for your life insurance, and your children will not get an inheritance.
Hmm.
Like, they're coming for your social security. They're garnishing your wages. Sorry, somebody want to say something?
No, I agree with you 100%. And I just see how these principles interact and are intertwined with each other. So back to number four, when we're talking about compound interest, you know, this, and not to discourage anyone who's older, but the sooner you get started, the better. In my mind, it's about building legacy. Kind of working backwards. At what age do you want to have a certain level of financial freedom? Work backwards from that, and you're able to build legacy, you're able to prepare for a financial crisis. And then again, you have that compound interest working for you so that when
For
you're in
you.
your 40s, instead of looking at all this debt you're saddled with, you'll be ready to retire in your
That's
40s.
right. That's right. Dream and fulfill.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And,
All
and
right.
the,
No,
and the,
go ahead.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
And the other thing is, learning takes time. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day.
It
And
does.
being able to get things right, we have to give ourselves the opportunity to learn at our pace.
Yes.
And for me, it was very beneficial to start young because I couldn't imagine trying to learn it at this age. There's too many things on my plate. I'm not as sharp as I used to be. The foundation is a little stronger when you can start earlier. So
Yeah.
I say, you got to give yourself room to run and grow because just like education, you have to dedicate time. Well, this financial thing is education in a different form.
Yeah. And I would add quickly, also give yourself grace too, because, building financial literacy, a lot of us, we didn't grow up in households where we had conversations at the dinner table about the stock market or investing. And it can be a little bit daunting when you're diving into it without having that background of being brought up in a household where that was the language that you spoke. And so give yourself grace. I would say follow your curiosity, and there's so many resources out there to get you started and to get you on the right path.
Absolutely. Give yourself grace and share this with a young person. When I was in my 20s, for instance, I put money in a CD. I was begging people to tell me, to teach me. I was looking for it. And that's why now I have this channel. It's called Math Monday, Math Money Mondays, because I mean, it still has something to do with math, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? Like, money is all about math. understanding algebra in the context of interest and addition and multiplication. Like, it's so key. I don't know who Cranston is, but he's shouting both of y'all out. Is that your friend? Go Megan, go Lonnie.
Yes, he's
Thank
another
you.
member
Sorry.
of our trading group.
Okay, okay, Cranston, you need to come on. You need to come
Yep.
on too. You need to come. I'm glad you're here and supporting them. All right. So, number 7, you pay nothing or very little in fees. This is such an important one. Do you know how many people get attracted by these predatory companies, and they target us, and they're like, oh, you can make this much money and you should do this. I never forget, I'm not going to name the company, but she had my friend had a Roth IRA with this company. They usually target people in our community, and they were charging like $50 a month just to do the Roth IRA. It was crazy. Like, I'm like, why are you paying all this money? You only put this much money in, and they're taking $50 out. You only could put $6,000 in, and they're taking, you know, it's crazy. And that was not even the fees associated with the funds that she was in. I said, do
Mhm.
you know that you could be in this company and this company for free? Do you know that you can buy stocks now for free now? Like, back in the days, I would have to pay $5. Now it's $0. I wonder if we know about what fees do and how they eat away at
I,
our
I,
money.
Mhm.
I always recommend to people when they look at a fee, don't look at it monthly, look at it annually.
Yeah.
Annualize that bad boy and see if you like paying $600 a year for
$600.
nothing, because that's what
Exactly.
$50 is.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, if you can do that, you can stomach it and go for it. But I bet you won't stomach it.
Yeah. I think Dave Ramsey calls it the stupid tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does he call it that?
You're stupid.
Because exactly, to Delani's point, you're literally throwing money out the window, you're throwing money away.
I mean, and certain companies do it and certain companies don't. And usually the companies that I've noticed that don't aren't targeting our community. We have to go and invest. So that means we have to be a little bit more disciplined to know who we put our money with. That's so key.
Hmm.
Like, do you know who you're putting where your money, or did Ray just try to get some commission off you? You put your money in this group and you realizing they're targeting fees, and there's some fees that are that are hidden, right? I mean, you should pay fees. If somebody is trading for you in a fund, you're paying somebody to do that, but it should be a low cost index fund if you're going to do that, right? Don't And if you look at your stock market account, it'll tell you how much in fees they take. So if you made a lot of money, just know that they took a lot of money in fees that you
Mhm.
didn't see.
It's
That you
so
didn't
true.
see.
And
And
can
that's
you,
why I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, go ahead, Delani.
Oh, well, that's why I'm very leery about even how I select ETFs or ETFs, which actually are the lowest, but I definitely don't participate in mutual funds. Those fees are so much higher. And Warren Buffett said it best. He just the normal ETFs can beat the best fund manager simply because the fund manager has to get paid, and he wants all
Right.
your money. He or she. So they're always taking more than they should, and we're not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
That's so true. Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, I was just going to add quickly. My reference to Dave Ramsey was just in general to paying fees across the board, whether it's a credit card fee or some other type of
Yeah.
fee. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Any fee that you don't have to pay
Right.
and is stupid.
How
It's
Mhm.
about
just so.
tipping? Can we talk about tipping? Because that's a fee that doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Now that everyone has gone, now that everyone, I'm telling on myself, but now that everyone has gone electronic pay and stuff. They've Square and all those companies have slipped in this additional
Yes.
gratuity that you could give to everyone, and I'm just
I
like,
know it's
stop asking
crazy.
me. It's
Stop
no.
asking me. And they make it hard for me to say no. I'm like
No,
looking
exactly.
at it.
Because they
I'm
make
like,
you select it before you finish your transaction.
yeah. And sometimes you can get frustrated because you can't find the no, or you don't see the zero, or you don't like it's crazy now. I noticed that too.
And they even include the tax in the final amount for gratuity. I'm over
Wow.
there crunching the number, and I'm coming to my real 20%. And I hate
Wow.
to sound like that, but the truth is, if you don't pay attention to it, that's another stupid tax you pay.
That's
Hmm.
right. Tips are for, in my opinion, is if I'm sitting down and they're serving me. I'm not paying no tip at a
Facts.
pickup line. Unbelievable. And that's what I said. You see it everywhere. I'm like, nope, zero, zero, or no. And I will take my time and find it. Listen, don't be ashamed.
Yeah.
Those
Stand
things
strong.
add up.
Yes, they
I
do.
people don't understand. Oh, it's just $6. Oh, like I pay my insurance in full. Like I don't do one, every month. I just pay the
Right.
whole $600.
Yeah.
They're like, why, Maya? Because I gotta pay $6 extra every month.
Yeah. And
Like,
then it's
who
all.
cares? It's just $6. I'm like, that's $36.
Hmm.
And that
Nailed it.
$36 could go in Bitcoin, or it could go in, it could go in things that I don't need necessarily. I could be risky with, you know? I'm not
Exactly.
going to throw away $36. No, I'm not throwing it away. And I think people need to understand that when you don't understand fees, you're throwing away money.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Number eight. You have a budget, and not just have a budget, but you use it. Key.
Yes. I would be lost without a budget. I budget avidly. I'm an avid budgeter. So it's a North Star. It's like a compass. I know exactly what's coming in and what's going out, where my money's going. So 100% you have to have a budget.
You have to have a budget, and you have to use it.
That's it. Yeah.
You can't have a budget and then still throw away money. I think it's like use the budget. Donnie wanted to say something.
Back in the day, I used to be I used to apply static budgets where there was really not much movement. Like if you say you're going to save 100, you save 100. That was the goal. Nowadays, I'm very flexible. I use flexible budgeting, but just like Megan, I budget as well. But I budget based off of topics, priority. And I think the beauty of budget is it's for you. You can tailor it the way
Hmm.
it can best suit you. The measuring stick really is, are you farther along and are you meeting your goals? See, you have to have a
Hmm.
goal first, and then you have to build your budget around it because it's the budget that will help you build the discipline. Because a daily activity becomes a monthly activity, which
Exactly.
supports a quarterly goal and helps you reach your final objectives. So you have to really be committed to these things, but you can be flexible. It doesn't have to be the fun patrol. It can be something
Right.
that you use as your champion.
Yeah, it's something that I love it. Not the fun patrol. Like you can have fun and have a budget, and that budget can be your champion. I love that, Talani. Like seriously, it's working for you. You're paying all these people. Pay yourself.
Hmm.
Pay yourself with the budget. Last one. Number 9, you take steps against identity theft. This is like, are you even? Oh, I feel like all 9 have something to do with being aware. Like if you are financially literate, when you are fully aware of everything that's going on with you financially. That's the vibe I got from this article from Spencer's Savings Bank. 9 signs that you are financially literate. Listen, I've had identity thefts. Somebody has stole my identity by stealing my tax return, stealing my
Wow.
tax. This was back before I bought my house. When I wanted to buy and I want you to understand why this is so important. I was going to buy a short sale from a friend. I was going to buy a short sale from a friend for a nice townhouse, and I couldn't get the townhouse because I didn't have my tax return because my identity was stolen. When I tried to do my taxes, they're like, "You already did your taxes." I'm like, "No, I didn't." And so I had to, I had to do all the things with the IRS to get that situated. And because I couldn't get my tax return in time to buy the short sale, I lost out on that short sale. It really broke my heart. God worked it out where I have this beautiful house now. So everything worked out for the best because I think I needed to be in this house. But do you understand not being able to buy a short sale? How that could have financially impacted me if I wanted to like have it and sell it and do whatever. Listen,
Hmm.
identity theft is terrible to somebody's finances. So you gotta be aware.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, listen, this has been an awesome conversation. Top 9 ways to know that you're financially literate. Just to remind you, take steps against identity theft, right? Like we kind of talked about that earlier, being, number 8, have a budget and use it. Number 7, pay very little or no fees. Number 6, do more than the minimum. Number 5, know what others say about you. Know all the statements. Be aware of what's going on. That can help you with identity theft from number 9. Number 4, you can do the math on compound interest. You know how much money you can make if you gain 5%, 10%, 30% on your income. You can do the math, right? Number 3, you get the link, you understand the link between inflation and income. You know what that $100,000 is doing. Number 2, you have multiple streams, or as Deandra says, 3 slamming streams of income at least. And number one, your money is in a lot of different places. You're diversified. You're diversified. Hasn't this been a great conversation, you guys?
I had a great
Yes. Well,
time.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's so easy, so breezy, so
We're
educational.
we're in good hands. We were in
Yeah,
good hands.
absolutely, absolutely. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I see DeAndre still on, Cranston, my mom, and all the others who watched but didn't want to comment or put your name in the chat. It was so great. Yes, Megan. Osakwi and Momar are my cousins. We are my mother out here. I did show my mother's face. My mother. So that's your brother-in-law. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
married to
okay.
one of my sisters. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's okay. So
Like this is a family
yeah,
reunion.
Listen, my mom and their mom are first cousins. First cousin.
Wow.
My mom and their mom are first cousins, meaning my grandmother and their grandfather are siblings. So we are true blue cousins.
Yes. Yes.
True blue cousins. Listen, I'm so excited to have this. I hope we could do this again. It's been a great conversation. Um, I am the phenomenal STEMist, and so are these financial gurus. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care, everyone.
you.